آزادی بیان
言论自由
free speech.
I'm going to talk a little bit about a project that I've been involved in over the last year, funded by the Arts and Humanities Research Council. And we've been looking at the BBC Arabic service and the difference that social media makes to the kind of journalism that they do. And for me, this raises three issues that are relevant to this debate. The first one is about the difference between the ideal public sphere and the empirical public sphere, and what the proper relationship between those two conceptions are. And it's quite clear that the empirical public sphere is quite often miles away from that ideal normative public sphere that is expressed in Timothy's 10 not commandments then.
And not Timothy's, but above
not Timothy's. But so I suppose I'd like to be a little bit of a devil's advocate here, and to throw open a bit later the question of what this relationship is between a normative ideal public sphere and an empirical one. And the second point I'd like to raise is how what's the relationship between big media, international broadcasters like the BBC, CNN and Al Jazeera, and small media, this kind of social media that are available. So I'm kind of shifting the frame a little bit. And I want to just tell you a little bit about the research we've done over the last year with a team of 5 Arabic researchers who've been either based in BBC Arabic or looking at who's talking to who and who's listening online, and looking also at the vast amounts of social media monitoring data that now these kind of social media produce. Facebook Analytics, other tools like Site Catalyst and Sysomos, these are kind of monitoring everything that people do online. So the BBC World Service has unprecedented access to what people do, what they like, what's trending, what's not. Well, let me just give you a few of the headlines of what we've found about the empirical public sphere at BBC Arabic. We look particularly at the flagship discussion programme called Talking Point, or Nukta Tarwar, and that's a tri-media programme that goes out 5 times a week. It's a political debate show that in principle the topics of debate should be decided by the users of social media, the people, not just social media, but the people who phone in, the people who go on the website, or the people who through Facebook or Twitter presents the production team with ideas and suggestions for debates. I can talk a little bit more about the process of engaging users, but let me just give you the headlines, because I think that it's much more difficult to engage people in social media and get users to frame the debate than perhaps in principle we think it is. And so what we've found is that in general, those people who are involved in using new media, over 77% are male. The large majority of them are also young, within the 18 to 35 year group. The majority of people are coming from Egypt and Saudi Arabia. And when you look much more closely at who's talking to, whether there is actually a dialogue going on, we find that most people using many of these forums, they're engaging in a kind of monologue rather than a dialogue. So I think this raises very important questions as to what people are calling the media revolution, whether we are all connected, whether we are all neighbours. And I suppose what I would say in response maybe to Timothy, or to the kind of lines of argument that I've seen on the website, is that the structural inequalities that exist in the world are replicated and sometimes intensified online. So I think I would be asking who's talking to who, and most importantly, who's listening.